back on live. Brothers and sisters, this is how I will teach to your children at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. This is how I will teach your sons at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. And if you have a problem with the way I talk, and if you have a problem with the way that I teach, and if you have a problem with the way that I preach, if you have a problem with my vernacular, if you have a problem with my oratory, if you have a problem with my black pride and my black consciousness and my black divinity, if there is anything about Umar Ifatunde, a.k.a. Jermaine Shoemake, a.k.a. the Prince of Pan-Africanism, if there's anything about me that is unsettling to you, keep your children in that white-ass public school. Keep your children in that white-ass Catholic school. Keep your children in that fake-ass Black Hotep school. Keep them where you want to keep them. But if they come into FDMG, damn it, they gonna get a Marcus Garvey spanking. We making men and women. We making men and women. We not playing no damn games. But unfortunately, some of you won't be allowed to come into the school. Some of you have your names and faces in a book that is growing every day called a Book of Negroes. Yes, brothers and sisters, Dr. Umar Johnson is compiling a book of Negroes. And what is a book of Negroes? It is a book of all my haters. Every time somebody gets blocked, every time somebody makes a negative comment, every time somebody uploads a disrespectful YouTube video, every time you slander the FDMG campaign. You Negroes have slandered the FDMG campaign more than you slandered American public school. How is that possible? How is it possible? How can you slander the FDMG campaign more than you slandered your child's public school? Help me understand. Help me understand. Help me understand. And some of you are in the Book of Negroes. That means on the opening day when we have the grand opening ceremony, when you show up thinking you coming in, one of my security going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "I'm sorry, ma'am. You are banned from ever coming into the school for the rest of your life. Please remove yourself." I'm sorry, brother, but you are in the Book of Negroes. What do you mean? I never. Sorry, brother. You have made a comment, a joke against Dr. Umar or this school that we now have. And as a result of that, you are banished permanently. You will never come in this school the rest of your life. Sorry. It is not a game. It is not a game. It is not a game, brothers and sisters. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. By the way, y'all, I'm going to start having an after-work Black professional social once a month in Wilmington, Delaware. I repeat, once a month, I'm going to start having a Black professionals after-work social where you can sit and chat and network, and there'll be presentations by brothers and sisters about their businesses, and you will be able to come to it no matter where you live. Okay? It's going to be on a Tuesday or a Wednesday afternoon for 4 hours. There's going to be food, music. You can just come and relax and meet other conscious Black professionals, but you must be conscious. You must be conscious. Okay? Facebook just timed out again on me. Facebook just timed out again on me. I think that's going to do it for Facebook. I'm just going to stay on Instagram as I wrap this up. Facebook is causing me problems, but Instagram is still rocking with me right now. I think I'm gonna take some questions on Instagram. Instagram, y'all want to tap in for a few minutes? Does Instagram want to tap in for a few minutes? Your brother is asking. Does Instagram want to tap in for a few minutes? Does Instagram want to tap in for a few minutes? Oh, Lord have mercy. Fake consciousness, brother. You done hit it on the nose. Fake consciousness is running the conscious community. Fake consciousness is running the conscious community. Fake consciousness is running the conscious community. Let me see if Facebook kept my videos up. Facebook not even letting me get on the page. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna turn my phone off for a minute. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's time to tap in. You got a question Instagram, it's 4 o'clock. I'm gonna give y'all about 15 minutes. Let's tap in. Fatima, get your life going once. Fatima, get your life. How you doing, sister?
Hi,
Peace
it's
and
an
love.
honor
Where
to
you at in
meet
the
you.
world? Where you at in the world?
I'm in Geneva,
Oh,
New
Geneva,
York.
Switzerland.
No, New York City.
Okay. You said
Yeah.
Geneva. I said, okay, New York City. How far are you from White Plains, good sister?
I live in the South Bronx, so I'm not too far from White Plains.
I hope
but right
you
now,
come on out on the 29th for the Black Parent Training in White Plains. Saturday,
I won't be able
February
to.
29th. Yes, indeed.
I'm at school.
You
I'm
got
in
school.
college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Handle that school, but spread the word, though. Let other
I
parents
will.
know y'all need to be in White Plains. What's on your mind today, beautiful?
Okay, so my question is, so I attend a PWI,
Yes.
and I have been like having a lot of like racist and encounters and microaggressions. So I just been wondering, like, what is your advice to handle that? For me, I've been going to, like, recently, I spoke to my teachers. I even, like, when I go to them, I provide readings because sometimes they don't understand where I'm coming from, but maybe, you know, they like literature. So when they read it, they can understand that. But any other advice you would give me? Because it's kind of getting annoying now. It's just like, what you're saying doesn't sound right. And it's like, do you have any advice when I like?
Yes, you better be documenting everything.
Okay.
You better be date, time,
People.
exactly what they said, exactly what they did, because there will be a time where you will have to formally lodge a complaint. And you won't be able to do that unless you have the dates and the time. This is what they said on this date at this place. Document yourself, Quinn, because the white world operates on documentation. And where we often mess up is we don't write it down. Keep a notebook. I don't care if you got to do a voice recorder. You can use your cell phone. And every time you have an incident, document it verbally on the voice recorder on your cell phone. And then when you feel like you've had enough, it's time to write a complaint. Straight to the Board of Trustees. Find out who is the chair of the Board of Trustees for that college, and you write straight to the chair about what you're going through. You can start with the Vice President for Student Affairs. Vice President for Student Affairs, and then you can go to the Provost, but then after that, you want to go to the Board of Trustees. And then you can go to your State Human Relations Commission as well. Your State Human Relations
I like that.
Commission.
Okay. I need to get a pen. Also, I write poetry, and I've been sharing on campus and stuff.
Okay.
And I was wondering if I could, like, have a chance to read it at one of, like, your events or your school.
Well, I got something for you. I'll be speaking in Yonkers for the first time. Yonkers
When?
On April the 25th. If you want, you can open up with some poetry in Yonkers.
Okay. If I'm not in school, that's the hard part.
Okay. If you're not in school, you just got to reach out to me and let me know.
Oh, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so April 25th?
Yes. Are you able to take my number down, Queen?
Yes, I've been through I saw this.
Let me know
This
when
is
you're ready.
crazy. It's like deja vu. Okay. I'm ready. 215
989
989
9858.
9858.
Yes.
Okay. And
right,
thank you
Queen.
for everything.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you.
Keep documenting. Keep documenting.
I will.
All right, love. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
No problem. I got to document. Go ahead and tap in. Phoenix girl going once. Phoenix girl going twice. What's going on, Phoenix girl? How you doing, sister?
I'm well, thank you. I live in Toronto.
Toronto, Canada. I haven't been to Toronto in like 5 years. How you doing today, gorgeous?
I'm having issues with my son's school.
What are they
He
doing?
was labored with behavior issues. And I watched your video on Facebook and I stopped the IEPs.
Good.
Now, I sent him to Jamaica to go to school. He came back. He was doing fine. He's been suspended 5 times since October. Right now, he was suspended because a little girl said that he touched her inappropriately. So her parents made a complaint to the police. The police looked into it and said it's a case of he said, she said. But the school suspended him, and there's nothing in his file to support what they suspended him for. When I do go to meetings, I record my meetings, but they don't know I record them. So I come home and I type them out. So I sent an email requesting a copy of his OSR. I had difficulty getting that, but I keep watching your videos and I don't feel like he's getting the help that he needs in Toronto District School Board, and I don't really know how to go about it for him to get the help that he does need properly.
Now, when you say help, are you talking about behavioral, emotional help, or academic help? Where's your son struggling?
He's good at math. He wasn't reading. Now he's reading. He's reading more. He's a very good drawer. He's a very good little boy. But with the behavior issue that they've labeled him with, it just follows him, and nothing he does gets seen in a different light. It's just, oh, you have a behavior issue, so we're going to suspend you. Wherein you don't have anything in. You say he got in a fight and he attacked the teacher. He didn't attack the teacher. You went to restrain him and he was fighting to get out of your restraint. But on his suspension paper, you put that he assaulted the teacher.
Okay. Couple things. Number one, you need to request a meeting to find out what is the teacher's classroom management program. In other words, what does she do in that class to punish your son when he misbehaves, but also
it doesn't go to the teacher. It automatically goes to the principal, and he'll if something happens, the principal gets involved. He says he'll listen to what the children's complaint is. Then, according to him, he goes around and he asks other kids that are there during the time of the incident, and depending on what they say, my son is always the one that's wrong. The principal keeps saying that it's his response that he has an issue to. When I ask him if he's a response, isn't that something being done to you that you in turn are reacting to? He said not necessarily.
Okay, so then what you need to do is you're going to have to find a black psychologist or behavioral specialist, and you're going to have to hire them to go into your son's classroom and observe him in the class.
Okay.
In other words, you have to get a second opinion on what's going on in that class, because you cannot assume that they're telling you the truth. You cannot assume that they're not targeting your son. You are blind because you're not in that class.
He knows that he's being targeted because he himself has spoken about the fact that nobody listens to what he has to say. The principal, I don't live in the west side of Toronto. I live in a predominantly mixed neighborhood. When he started school, he was the only black kid in his kindergarten class.
Right.
So that's the neighborhood I live in. All his teachers are mostly white.
Exactly. But hear what I'm telling you, though, Queen. You got to get somebody to observe him. You have to write a letter to the principal and say, I have retained the services of, for example, I have retained the services of Dr. Umar Johnson, a certified school psychologist. He's going to come into the classroom and observe my son so he can give us, me and the teacher, some recommendations for how we can help him improve his behavior. You're going to make it positive. You're not going to make it look like you don't trust them. You're going to make it look like you do trust them and you want the best for your son. And so you've secured the services of a professional to go into the class and observe your son. And then after he observes your son, you guys are going to meet with the principal and the teacher to give them some recommendations. Because what if the problem isn't your son? What if the problem is the way the teacher treats your son? What if the problem is that the whole class is misbehaving? What if the problem is that your son is being triggered by another child whose behavior is 50 times more disruptive than your son's behavior? Dr.
Umar, that's the whole situation. However, the principal doesn't feel like On his third suspension, I asked him why he hasn't forwarded my son's file to the behavior board, because you have a behavior board in TDSB. He said he doesn't feel like it's at that point. So what point do you feel like it's at? You've suspended him 5 times now, probably 6.
I got you, but listen to me, Queen. You have to force your will. You can't keep saying what they won't let you do. You have to force your will. If you need to, you can go to the superintendent. You can go to central office. If the principal is too resistant, you can write to the vice or deputy superintendent, or you can write to the chair of your son's school board. In other words, you can go over the principal's head, but you cannot stop what the principal's saying. He cannot stop you from having someone go into that class to observe your son. If he says you can't, then you have to go to the superintendent. And the fact that the teachers are mostly white, that only helps your argument, because if necessary, you could even charge them with racism. You see, which means you could even go to the governor, you know, and I don't know what y'all call him in Canada, but the governor of the state, you can write to them and have them investigate your accusations of racism that your son is being discriminated against in that school. But you have things you can do, but you got to force your mic, and you have to start putting pen to paper. For example, up until now, have you written a single letter to the principal with your concerns expressed?
I've told him, and then kept
I didn't ask you what you told him.
I've sent him emails.
Letter on pen and paper, sweetheart. Have you written any letters yet?
I sent him emails about it, so he's aware of how I feel about it. And in order to get the copies of my son's school records, I sent an email to the superintendent and the trustee, and that's how he eventually gave me the OSR. So I have it. I went through the OSSR, and now I have to go through all of their assessments and stuff, and then highlight what I need to put in an email to the superintendent now for them to actually do what they were supposed to do. I did that prior to him going to Jamaica. He went to school in Jamaica for 2 years, I think 2.5 years. But prior to him going back then, I had to read the special education plan. I read it all in one night and then followed up with an email telling them what services they should have provided versus the services that they did provide. They had sent the behavior team to do an assessment. So in his OSR, there's an old copy of a behavior plan in the OSR, but the principal has never looked at it or implemented anything on it.
So then there you go right there. Now you need a letter to complain about the fact that they didn't implement what was on that. You got him right there. That's where you come in at. You're not carrying out the agreed upon recommendations. That's where you do that. And this is what I want you to do. Before you send in another email, I want you to send it to me. I want to read it to see if you're writing these emails correctly, because you got to make sure you write it in such a way that they know that you're not playing and you will take this to the next level. You got me? You have my email address?
I have your email address. I got it earlier, and I got your phone number earlier, so I saved those. So when I put the email together, I will send it to you for you to read it for me. And I really appreciate it.
No problem, love. Stay positive. Don't let them stress you out. I'm only a phone call away.
Okay, thank you so much.
Be safe.
Bye.
All right. This is why we need the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, y'all. I'm tired of our black mothers going through this bullshit. I'm tired of it. I am tired of it. Adrian going once. Adrian going twice. Where you at, Queen? I need to see you, not the ceiling. Adrian, where you at? All right, I'm going to tap out. She probably making love to her king. Go ahead and tap in, y'all. This is why we need the school, y'all. Donate, $FDMG school. Donate, $FDMG school. Back step brother going once. Back step brother going twice. Peace and love, black man.
Hey, Doc, it's good to see you again.
Likewise. Where you at, brother? Where you at?
Still in Harrisburg, my brother.
Oh, you up in Harrisburg. All right.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to reach out to you, Doc, because I got a son. and looking at, we just have him evaluate each delay. We're in English and Spanish. So,
Okay.
I mean, what's your recommendation? Because I don't want to be left behind when, he goes to school and everything.
Well, the question becomes, is it a speech problem or is it a language issue? I like the fact he's growing up in a bilingual home. I like that because children do better when they speak two languages, and it's best that they learn them young. So that's not a problem. What is the speech issue though that they claim that he has? What is he?
Well, they're saying he's delayed. I mean, he's saying, of course, mama, dada, all that, and that he's not having a problem understanding. He's just not. I don't know how to say it, but they say he's not where he's supposed to be according to their metrics.
Is he talking though? Is he?
Yeah, he's making sounds and he's pointing and trying to communicate, but it's not intelligible.
When the last time he had his hearing checked?
When he was born.
Okay, because you want to make sure it's not a hearing issue in either ear. Make sure the hearing is right. You might want to ask the pediatrician to order an audiological evaluation. Audiological. That's where they go into their ears a little bit more than your basic routine hearing tests. He might need an audiological. Okay.
Okay.
Make sure those ears are okay. But here's what I want to say. I'm not against the speech therapy at his young age, because if he does have a speech problem, if he gets the help that he needs now, he can outgrow it.
Okay.
You follow me? Now,
yeah.
Formal special ed doesn't begin until 3, so he would get the speech through his medical insurance. Once he turns 3, he can get it through preschool, because regular special ed begins at 3 with preschool. But again, I don't have a problem with a black child getting speech and language therapy, because that's not the same as being learning disabled. You follow me?
Yeah.
It's just a speech issue. So I would give him the therapy. I would give him the therapy until I'm certain he no longer needs it. But I think this might be more of a language thing than anything else. But check that hearing though, because so many times I've seen where the hearing, did he ever have ear tubes in his ears?
No, his hearing's perfect. In fact, he's super sensitive. Sometimes we put him down to sleep, a car will go by to wake him up. So he's sharp with his hearing.
Hearing is all right.
Yeah.
I would give him the therapy. I would give it to him. Maybe he's just a tad behind. It wouldn't hurt to still get that audiological, but if he's that sensitive, it don't sound like it's the hearing. So I would give it to him. I would give it to him. Yeah.
All right, it can't hurt nothing.
Speech is the one area of special ed that doesn't give me real concerns.
Okay.
Because you don't end up, being labeled and LD. You're none of that. You're just speech.
Yeah.
You feel me? But as he goes through the years, though, you have to make sure, you and his mother have to make sure you're very adamant that you're only looking at speech concerns. You're not looking at anything else.
Okay.
All right? Because you don't want them to double up on it.
Sounds good, Doc. I'm going to put that in practice. I just wanted to tap in and say, yo, we're still supporting you around this area. Pennsylvania, D.C., we got you.
I appreciate you. Also, the Black Parent Training for Pennsylvania is going to be in Pittsburgh, June the 6th. I keep forgetting Pittsburgh. It's going to be in Pittsburgh, June the 6th. I know that's a couple hours away, but y'all might need to make that ride up there.
Yeah, we're seriously considering it. So we'll be waiting on you in June.
Got you. All right, brother. Be safe up there.
All right, take care, brother.
All right now. Yes, please forgive me. If you live in Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania training will be in Pittsburgh. If you live in Ohio, come to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, Ohio, and Pennsylvania will be trained in Pittsburgh on June the 6th. Get your tickets, DrUmarJohnson.com. Asia Michelle, going once. Asia Michelle.
Hello.
How you doing there, gorgeous?
I'm good.
Where you at in the world?
I'm in Rochester, New York.
Rochester, New York. You coming to White Plains on the 29th for the parent training?
No.
Why not?
Because Pittsburgh is closer. Remember I inboxed
Pittsburgh
you.
is closer?
Mm-hmm.
How far is Pittsburgh from Rochester?
Like 4.
And what is
Yeah,
White Plains?
5.
Okay, okay, I got you. Talk to me.
So,
What's on your mind, Queen?
so what's the problem with the IEPs? Because I just got my son one.
What grade is
He
he in?
he's in first grade.
Okay, now I'm gonna pull your fingernails out. Why does he have an IEP in the first grade?
Well, when I first moved out to the suburbs, they kept suspending him because he has a behavior issue, and in order for them not to suspend him, the IEP was stopping him. Like,
To some degree. But
yeah,
we don't want him in special ed just so he don't get suspended, though. See, that's the issue. They
right,
use
but
special ed as a trash can for black boys with behavior problems. You see.
hmm
But what is his disability category?
they wanted to do emotional disturbance, but I got my doctor to give him a. It's called I'm sorry. It's, um,
See,
damn,
I'm gonna
I
get
can't
you again.
remember.
I'm gonna get you again. I'm picking on you though, but I'm only
Uh-huh.
picking on you to teach the other parents, right? So
Uh-huh.
don't take it personal. You have to know your child's disability category.
Right.
Everything begins with that category. Now, you said you got the doctor to give you what? What disability category did the doctor give you that you gave to the school?
Um, it's oh, why I can't remember that I'm on the phone with you. I know it. Um,
Is it learning disability?
definitely not a learning. That's
Emotional disturb. Well, let's run through them.
so it's
Emotional disturbance, learning disability, which can be reading, writing, listening, speaking, da 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 da. Emotional disturbance, other health impaired, which will be for like
so
ADHD.
it's definitely under other health impaired. It
So
was
what is it? ADHD?
not ADHD. The doctor wouldn't do that. He said you got to give him
Okay. What
time.
did he give you then?
He
What is
gave him the
conduct disorder, oppositional defiant disorder?
opposition
So the
opposition yeah.
okay. So the doctor gave your son oppositional defiant disorder.
Right.
If I was talking to your doctor, I would ask your doctor, how in the hell did you give a boy an ODD diagnosis and you never seen that boy in the classroom? Do you follow what I'm saying? My problem with the doctors is they be giving out diagnosis for behavior when they've never seen the behavior. You follow what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You hear me?
Yep.
Now, here's what I think you should do. Here's what I think you should do. First of all, he too young to be in special ed, and he too young with the IEP. Got me?
Mhm. Yep.
But let me ask you this.
Good night.
Let me ask you this. Because he's in special ed, he can only be suspended 10 total days out the year. Did you know that?
Uh-huh.
Did you
He
know
was
that?
at 21 when before I got the IEP. 21.
Okay. He was at 21 for the year?
Mhm.
How long has he had the IEP? How long?
He just got it last month.
How many suspensions since he got it?
None.
Okay. Is he in a full-time classroom or is he in a regular class and he get pulled out? Tell me about his special ed service. Is he full-time, part-time? Is he in a regular class and they pull him out? Tell me about the service.
Okay, so they claimed they couldn't support his IEP, so they sent him to another district, and that was it's a program called Hillside here, so it's called Crestwood, and it's more for it's it's a 6-1-1, so it's 6 students, 1 teacher, and 1 aide.
Okay.
They
So it
don't
sounds like
have that at the school.
okay, a couple things I need you to understand because I think they running game on you. I
Mhm.
think they running game on you. Number one, as the parent, you are a mandated member of the IEP team. Do you follow?
Uh-huh.
Don't pay the
I'm
comments to
sorry.
mine. We got a couple rooms in it.
Right.
Don't worry about it. Okay.
Okay.
You are a mandated member of the IEP team. You got me?
Mhm.
If you don't sign the paperwork, they can't do nothing. You are in control. If you don't sign the paperwork, they can't implement anything for your son. You got me?
Mhm.
Now, here's my question to you. Because right now, your son is in a full-time class. Your
Yep.
son is in a full-time class. I do not like the idea of a little black boy being in a full-time special ed class for oppositional defiant disorder that the doctor gave him. You follow what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, this is what I would do if I was you. This is what I would do. I would write a letter to the principal requesting an IEP meeting to change my son's placement. I don't want my son at that school. I want him in the regular school, in the regular class, getting pulled out for a little bit of time to get the support he needs for his so-called oppositional defiant disorder. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think you should change his placement away from full-time, back to the regular class with pull-out support as necessary.
See, that's what I had to get an advocate, and my mom, she works for another district in the suburbs. So they was upset because my mom was coming at them like, no, you need an advocate, go get him support. They pulled him out the classroom and put him one-to-one with a teacher. He wasn't even around other students because he was a risk or a harm to other people.
I need you to remember something. Special ed law says your son must receive a free and appropriate public education, FAPE. A is appropriate. If you don't believe that the education is appropriate, you call an IEP meeting and you change it. You see, I think it's time for an IEP meeting to change your son's placement. Downgrade the IEP to him being in a regular class, back to the regular school, getting pulled out as necessary. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I want you to consider, take him out of special ed altogether and give him a 504 plan. Have you ever heard of a 504 plan?
Trust me, I requested that too. We requested a crisis plan because they say he likes to run out. So, I mean, they weren't following it. It was to the point where I was on the phone, like, you know, I'm a black woman. I'm getting smart with them. And they want to call CPS for any little thing.
Forget the phones. This is what you need to do. You have my email?
No, I don't.
Take my email. I need you to formulate a letter. Formulate a letter to the principal with all your concerns in the letter. I am not comfortable with my son being at the special school in a full-time class. He doesn't have a problem learning. I want him back in the regular school where he was, and he can get pulled out as necessary. Or you can say, I want him out of special ed, and I want a 504 plan. Because you could go 504. Does your son have trouble learning in a regular class?
He's
yes
like,
or no? Does your son have trouble learning in a regular class?
In the city, no, we didn't have a problem. In the suburbs, yeah. I think he felt like he was out of place. You know, you're allowed to be yourself in the city. In the suburbs.
Then he needs a behavior plan. He needs a functional behavioral assessment and a positive behavior plan. He needs a 504 with a behavior plan. I think you should get him out. But I do want to say this one thing. And this is what I want you to think about before you write the letter that I'm going to look at. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
If your son is a badass, if he is a badass, we got to keep the IEP. Because the IEP will prevent him from being suspended more than 10 days. If he's a badass, we might got to keep the IEP.
Yeah, he's bad as hell. I ain't gonna lie.
Then I want to know why you letting him get away. He's spoiled. You spoiled.
I whoop him. Like
then why is he doing what he doing? Why is he doing what he's doing?
He's acting out his dad out of his life. You know, like at the end of the day, I'm only one person.
Where's the daddy? Where's the
somewhere
daddy?
He running the streets somewhere. Who knows?
Okay, but what are you doing for the discipline though? Daddy ain't there. You got to step in with the discipline.
So I take his stuff. You know.
But how many other kids with him?
Just one. He's the only child.
And guess what? I don't believe you. Let me.
I work a lot. So I work a lot. So when my brother, you know, they probably don't push the punishment as like, you know, if I'm there.
Exactly. He's doing what he wants.
Right.
And he might also be upset that he might not be spending enough time with you. So you got to make sure you get that time in with your son, because he'll go to school and misbehave on purpose. On purpose. Because he's frustrated that he's not getting enough time with you. You follow me? So it sounds like we need to downgrade the IEP, put him back in the regular class, and have them pull him out. So you want to request an IEP meeting to change your son's placement.
Mm-hmm.
And in that letter, you're going to say why you want the placement change. And you're basically going to tell him he can learn in a regular class. He should not be in a special school all day, one teacher to 6 kids. My son don't need that. He need the regular class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to talk about the functional behavioral assessment, FBA. A special ed child is required to have an FBA if they have behavior problems. Have you ever been invited to a meeting to develop a functional behavioral assessment for your son?
Yeah, I literally just got done doing all of this. We had like 3 meetings, and
But are you sure it was the FBA though?
yes, we definitely got an FBA. Well, because they wanted to the school wanted to, he doesn't have a learning disability, but my mom felt like they didn't do it long enough, you know.
No, your mother's wrong. Tell grandma, stop trying to force a learning disability. Because
She wants to force a learning disability. They want an emotional disturbance.
No, you're not giving them that either.
That's what we said. Like
LD, we're not giving them LD or ED. We're not giving them neither one. What we are going to give him until you get his behavior under control, we're going to give him special ed with the OHI ODD. We're going to keep that.
That's why we took that, because if I didn't, he wouldn't be in school right now. He'll be home, because it was going to end up as a long term.
Okay, so now placement. Get him out the school. You're not changing the diagnosis. You're not changing the label. You're changing where he is and the amount of service he gets. So you're changing program and placement. Program is the amount of time. Placement is the school where he is. You follow me? But so you want to change. Go ahead.
He feels like, children can feel when they're not wanted. So I didn't. It's okay if he does. I dealt with so much with the CPS and all of that. Who wants to deal with that shit to keep your child there?
No choice. Until we have a school for him to go to, you got to fight him. Now let me ask you this: do he got to go to the suburb school? Is there a reason?
Yeah, because where I live at, so when I move back into the city, it's more.
When he was in a suburb school, how many other black kids was in his classroom?
Oh, it's a lot of black kids. They just don't want to handle the behaviors. Like, that district don't have programs for behaviors.
You know what? Do you think you can find a couple other black parents in your son's regular classroom who have this same issue so y'all can make y'all complaint as a group?
Yeah, I have a friend I work with, actually, and I had moved into the district after her. So when she see me up there, she was like, oh, yeah, she was like, they did that shit to me last year. Like, she knew what I was going through.
I had to get rid of a coon. I want you to work on that letter. You got to change the placement and the progress. We're going to start there. Because I'm assuming you want him back in the regular school.
Yeah, that's how I was going to just move back into the city, because
you can make them fight. No. I think you should stay there. Because if they keep screwing your son over, right? If they keep screwing your son over, you're going to make them pay for an approved private school for your son. Don't run. Fight. You're more likely to get that private school with them crackers than you would with the Negroes. Because with the crackers, they start treating black kids differently. That gives you a little bit more leverage. You follow what I'm saying? So I don't think you should move. I think you should stay right there and keep on getting documentation, and then force them to pay for your son to go to a private school. But the first thing is you got to get your paperwork together. Second thing, you have to master your paperwork. You got to know it like this, sis. You got to know it, okay? But the next thing to do is IEP meeting to change the program and the placement. You want him back in the regular school. You feel me? Once you write your letter, you're going to email it to me. You got my number?
No, I don't got the email.
You got the email?
No.
Okay, my bad. DrUMar Johnson, JOHNSON at Yahoo. Dr. Umar Johnson at Yahoo. No period. One word. DrUmarJohnson at Yahoo. Phone number, because you got to text me once you email the letter so I know to go look at it. 215-989-9858.
Okay.
Before you and your mother go to any more meetings, because your mom always go with you, right?
Yeah.
Don't go by yourself. Always take somebody, 2 people, if you can.
Mhm.
Before y'all go to a meeting, you're going to let me know a couple days ahead of time. You understand? A couple
Mhm.
days ahead of time so I can prep y'all. Y'all going to tell me what the meeting is about. I'm going to tell y'all what y'all got to do in the meeting. But you got to give me a couple days notice. You got that? I'm going to
Mhm.
look out for you because you in Frederick Douglass City, Rochester. So I'm going to look out for you. That's my answer.
Mhm.
Okay? So get on that letter and let me know. Don't do nothing else. Don't make no moves until you talk to me. Because they're trying to get over on you. Okay, but we're going to get over on them. But the first thing is to get your son back in the regular school and downgrade the amount of support that he's getting.
Mhm.
All right? And guess what? Even though you said you live closer to Pittsburgh, I'm going to be honest with you. You need to be in White Plains on February 29th. You need to be in White Plains because your son is going through everything we're going to go over. And you can't
Mhm.
wait till June. June will be too late. So tell grandma we're driving 5 hours to White Plains because I need that Dr. Umar training and I cannot wait until June. I'm serious about that. Y'all need to see the paperwork that I got for you. You need to be in White Plains. Your son's life
Mhm.
might depend on it.
Mhm.
All right, Queen? So you got
Yep.
everything you need. Stay in touch with me.
Thank you.
Okay, Queen. Be blessed.
Wait.
Y'all see that? That's why all y'all need to be at the training. You just saw firsthand why every black mother raising kids on her own needs to be at an NIBPA Black Parent Know Your Rights tour. I don't understand y'all. White Plains, New York, February 29th. Newark, New Jersey, Sunday, March the 1st, Source of Knowledge Bookstore. March the 7th, Long Beach, California, March the 7th, Long Beach. March the 21st, Oklahoma City. March the 28th, Charlotte, North Carolina. April 11th, New Haven, Connecticut. April 18th, Ocean Springs, Mississippi. May 2nd, Dallas, Texas. June 6th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. August, Indiana, Indianapolis in August. June is going to be Minneapolis, Minnesota. Florida, September 5th. Chicago, y'all need to come. And if your child is in trouble now, you can't wait until the training comes near you. You have to go now, brothers and sisters. What y'all waiting for? Y'all need to go now. Houston, there's only one training per state. Texas training is in Dallas. It is not in Houston. Drive your lazy ass to Dallas. I don't understand what's wrong with y'all. New York is the 29th of February. Newark, New Jersey, March 1st. Long Beach, California, March 7th. Oklahoma City, March 21st. Charlotte, North Carolina, March 28th. New Haven, Connecticut, April 11th. Ocean Springs, Mississippi, April 18th. Dallas, Texas, May 2nd. Pittsburgh, June 6th. Minneapolis, Minnesota, June 27th. Indianapolis, Indiana, August 15th. Sanford, Florida, September 5th. Chicago, Illinois, September 12th. If I can fly 10,000 miles to you, why can't you drive 3 hours for me? If I can fly 10,000 miles to you, why can't you drive 3 hours for your child? If I can fly 10,000 miles for you, why can't you drive 3 hours for your child? Tickets are on my website, DrUmarJohnson.com. Y'all should know my website by now because I'm the only school psychologist that fights for your damn children. Why don't you know my website? It's time to get it together. I only been out here 20 plus years. When are y'all going to get it together? The website is DrUMar Johnson. DrUmarJohnson.com. Get it together, people. These crackers are kicking our asses and they are kicking our children's asses. Let's get it together. Tap on in. Tap on in. Lakeisha going once. Lakeisha going twice. Where you at, Lakeisha? Stop showing me the sky, baby. I want to see you. Okay, Lakeisha's on the toilet. Tap back in when you're off the toilet, baby. We got to get serious, y'all. We got to stop this lazy not knowing who Dr. Umar is bullshit. It don't make no sense. Tiana going once. Tiana going twice. What's going on, Sister Tiana? Where you at in the world?
Nice to see you again.
Good. I love that. I love those beautiful eyes of yours. Where are you in the world, Queen? Where you at?
I'm in Brooklyn. Right now I'm at LI, Long Island.
Long Island. Are you coming to White Plains on the 29th or Newark, New Jersey on March the 1st?
I'm going to be in February. I seen you when you came to Queens already, so I'm going to see you February 29th. All
right, all right. What's on your mind today, beautiful?
I would like to know, can they diagnose a 2-year-old with autism?
They can if you let them. They can if you let them. Now, what I want you to know, 2 years old is too young. Too young for an autism diagnosis. Are you following me? We don't want him diagnosed at 2. At least 5. At least 5, not 2. 2 is too young. Who wants to diagnose him at 2?
My little cousin was diagnosed 2 years old with autism and ADHD.
Oh, no, 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 no. ADHD don't even exist, and it's too young, and all they're going to do is try to make him take medication.
Right.
The ADHD is all about medication. They should have never did that. They should have never did that. And the autism is too young. You cannot be sure of autism at 2 years old. You cannot be sure of autism at 2. Both of those were misdiagnoses. Both of them. Okay. That child's parent is who? Your sister?
No, it's my cousin's daughter.
Your cousin needs to be in White Plains, New York. Do you feel me? Your cousin needs to be in White Plains, New York, because that don't make no damn sense. You got me? All right.
Yes.
And I want to see you there, babe. 229. But tell her we need to have a conversation.
I'll see you again on February 29th.
All right, baby. Take care now.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
What? Can somebody tell me what the hell is going on? Can somebody tell me why are we still letting them evaluate and diagnose our babies in kindergarten and the 1st grade? Hold on, block party. Can somebody tell me why we are still letting these people do this to our babies? Listen to me. If your child is 9 years old or younger, slow it down. 6 years old should be illegal. 5 years old should be illegal. 4 years old, 3 years old, 2 years old. That is too damn young. I will be in Detroit next Thursday. Detroit next Thursday, December the 27th. Detroit next Thursday, February 27th. I'm sorry, February 27th, Detroit, Michigan. Lolita Fisher, I don't think they're doing it for the money, Lolita. They just don't know. They're not doing it for the money all the time. The young mommies ain't doing it for the money. They young. They don't know. The white folks is bullying them. That's why we need to build the NIBPA chapters in every city. But y'all won't come to the trainings and learn the information because y'all some of them Negroes that we talked about before, okay? Y'all into information and conversation. I'm not into information and conversation. I'm into organization and institutionalization. Yes, the dates are on my website. All you have to do is click tickets. When you go to DrUmarJohnson.com, click on the tickets, and all 15 cities are right there. Choose your city. Stop making this difficult. Go to the website. I'm going to bring Sister Tiff back in. Where you at, Tiff? All right, Sister Tiff, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Why are our mothers still letting these white folks evaluate and diagnose and special educate the kids? Like, what's going on? I don't understand. These young,
honestly,
the
sir,
young ones,
yes.
the young ones, 2 years old and 5 years old and 7. Why is this still going on after 20 years of me teaching against this?
I truly believe that they honestly do not know any better. I've worked with children for well over 20 years. I monitor visits with the courts, and I see the interaction between the mothers, fathers, children as grandparents as well. And a lot of the parents, they don't either love their children fully enough to invest time into their kids, or they literally just don't, they're not armed with the knowledge and resources. And that is why I believe that what you're doing is so important, because even though I'm not a mom, like biologically, I do work with kids, and I have a bunch of nieces and nephews. I'm going to be at the training just so I can be a better advocate for the children. And if the parents don't have, that type of, they don't have that in them to love children enough to care for them, then the kids are the ones who ultimately suffer and fall through the crack, and everything is perpetuated. And that's just the bottom line, that it's all about love and responsible concern. And we as Africans need to understand that even though you may not have a kid in the school system, we are global, and our whole parenting is the village mentality. Europeans are the ones that believe each kid belongs to them. We believe in our culture that each kid belongs to the collective, because the kids are the one, right? So if they don't have that and they don't know that, because we've been living in this system for so long, then, the kids suffer, and it's sad. It really is.
That's right. That's right. I feel you on that, Tiff. Thanks for those words of wisdom, Queen. We're going to run. Stay safe while you out there driving.
Yes, sir.
On March the 7th, help me get the word out across the state.
You shall, sir.
I need some radio interviews. I don't know if you know anybody with radio shows in Cali, but I need radio. I don't care if it's internet, broadcast, blog, talk, radio. I need some interviews.
Okay, thank you. I will.
We haven't had any.
Okay.
All right, Tiff. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right, Queen. Brothers and sisters, when are we going to stop selling our kids on the slave auction block of special education and medication? When are we going to stop selling our kids on the slave auction block of special education and medication? When are we going to stop selling our kids on the slave auction block of special education and medication? Also, I need some radio interviews. All the cities where the trainings are, I need interviews. I need interviews for California. I need interviews for New York. I need radio interviews for New Jersey. I need interviews for Oklahoma. I need interviews for North Carolina. I need interviews for Connecticut. I need interviews for Mississippi. I need interviews for Minnesota. I need interviews for Indianapolis. I need interviews for Florida. I need interviews for Chicago. Anybody with a radio show that wants to interview Dr. Umar to help me promote the Black Parent National Training Tour, please text me, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. I need some interviews. I'm not coming to Stockton. Stockton needs to come to Long Beach. Portland needs to come to Long Beach. Bay Area needs to come to Long Beach. Detroit is a free event. It is not sold out. You don't need a ticket for Detroit. Thursday, February 27th in Detroit, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then there will be a 6 to 9, 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. And then there will be a 6 to 9. 2 different programs in Detroit next Thursday, February the 27th. Brothers and sisters, thanks for tuning in. I've been with y'all 4 hours today. I done gave y'all 5 hours. I don't think I've ever did a live for 5 hours before, but I done gave y'all 5 hours. Okay? Please donate $FDMG school. Mail in your donation. P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. Wifey resumes, send them on in. DrUmarJohnson at Yahoo. Co-wifey resumes, you and your co-wife, send your resume in together. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But until I got them two, I'm not done. Until I got them two. I think I got the one, but I need one more. I think I got the one, but I need one more. I need another wifey on the co-wife team. Voluptuous, beautiful, educated, serious, focused, conscious. And you must be a good cook. You must be. If you can't make the mac and cheese, I can't do nothing with you. If you can't make those greens with the turkey butt juice, I can't do nothing with you. If you can't make them deviled eggs, I can't do. You got to be able to cook. Got to be able to cook. And you might got to be able to pump a boy out for me. I still need Prince Papa. I still need Prince Ifatunde II. Prince Ifatunde II. I think I still got to have that Prince. Brothers and sisters, get your tickets. Black Parent Training Tour. DrUmarJohnson.com. Detroit is my next stop. Detroit is my next stop. Detroit is my next stop. Thursday, December the 27th. And then it's White Plains, New York. And then it's Newark, New Jersey. And then it's Los Angeles, California. Next 4 stops, Detroit, Michigan. White Plains, New York. Newark, New Jersey. Long Beach, California. Long Beach is March the 7th. Los Angeles, March the 8th. Long Beach is the California State Training, March the 7th. The lecture will be in Los Angeles on Sunday, March the 8th. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, and I approve this message.